What is up? Wednesday live stream. It's Wednesday. We're live streaming. I've got my headphones, but I'm not going to wear them because why? No need. The music is off, so why do I need to wear headphones? I have no idea. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday or week or what have you. Hope school's treating you all just fine. Tell me how you guys are doing down in the chat as you guys are streaming in. As you guys are streaming in to the live stream. Tell me down in the chat how you all are doing. Tell me how you're doing. I myself, I've been having a pretty fantastic week. I'll tell you. Babies are awesome. Babies are quite awesome. As you all well know, babies are amazing. Logan's doing good. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. All right, we're going to jump right into our announcements. So let's jump right into our announcements. And we always start... Oh. I'm still playing music, I suppose. We're going to jump right into our announcements. And we begin with weekly update. You know how it is. Every single week we put out an update video, less than 3 minutes. At least that's the goal. Down here in the comments is the link to the video. So go ahead and check that out whenever you got some free time. That keeps you up to date on everything it is that we're doing. Same video that we're showing on Sunday morning. But even still, take a few seconds. Maybe have a laugh, have a gaff, and find out what's going on around in these here parts with JCC Student Ministry. Am I right? Or am I right? Don't know why I turned into a cowboy right there, but we're just gonna forget about that and move on. So have you heard about source groups? Source groups are groups of 3 to 4 students and 1 adult who join each other on Zoom for 30 minutes at a day or time of their choosing, and they talk about life. Now, the way that works is you guys get on a Zoom, you log in. There are a couple of different times. You got some on Tuesday, you got some on Thursday, you got one on Friday. But you find a group of youth group students and you stick with them. You figure out what's going on in each other's lives. You're praying for each other. You're encouraging each other. You're hopefully enjoying each other's company here just a little bit. And man, my prayer is that, as soon as we really start to go back into physical, in-person youth group events, because I'm thinking about those. I'm thinking about those events. I'm thinking about when that's going to happen. And I'm praying about that. And I want you guys praying about it too. But when we go back to those physical in-person events, man, I would love for source groups to keep on going. I'd love for these things right here to keep on going because relationships can be kept even during a pandemic. You guys know that very well. You guys are young. You guys use the internet all the time. So use it to get close to your youth group because your youth group is a huge source of not only just things for you, but it's, you can truly be a voice for good in the life of another teenager. And I think it's really cool when you all are able to speak life into each other's lives, or when an adult can speak life into you, and hopefully I'm able to do that. But nothing is like you guys getting together, you guys praying for each other, you guys caring for each other, just like our church does for each other. So get in a source group, get to know some people, and get praying, get caring. So, moving right along, Bible reading plan through the book of Mark is complete. Oh, I am confusion. It did not transition correctly. Bible reading plan through the book of Mark is complete. It has been such a fun little journey through the book of Mark together as a group. But if you haven't jumped on that, if you haven't used that opportunity to read the book of Mark, don't feel bad. I mean, you could jump on it today. You could start on day 4. I mean, just like I got up here on the screen if you want to. But here's all you got to do. Here's all you got to do. You got to leave a thumbs up on Slack in hashtag Bible Reading Plan. If you can just jump on there and leave a thumbs up on Slack in hashtag Bible Reading Plan, boy, let me tell you, you're golden, pony boy. You're good to go. So here's a quick example video of what you might expect from a hashtag Bible Reading Plan video. We're gonna go ahead and watch this together. Let's go. Hey, hashtag Bible Reading Plan. It's day 14, which means we're in Mark 14. Let's get reading. Question number 1 comes from Mark 14, 32 through 42. How can you make time alone to talk with God just like Jesus did in the Garden of Gethsemane? Jesus would very often go off by himself throughout the different Gospels, and he would take time to talk to God. How can you take cues from Jesus' rhythms of prayer and go off by yourself somewhere secluded and talk to God? Question 2 comes from verses 66 to 72. What is the significance of Peter denying Jesus? And better yet, why is this recorded? Peter is supposed to be one of the rock stars of the Jesus story. So why in the world does it talk about his greatest failure? This is one of the best parts about the Bible. See, the Bible is willing to go there. It's willing to talk about people at their worst, even the people who aren't supposed to be bad at all. They're people. They mess up just like we do, and all of us are in need of grace. So make sure you're giving yourself a healthy dose of grace today. Our passage to chew on today comes from Mark 14, 12 through 26. As you read this part, I really want you to imagine yourself sitting at the table. Imagine Jesus is telling you the things that he's telling the 12 as they're sitting here for this Passover feast. How would you respond? How would you react? Pretend as though Jesus is speaking directly to you, as if you're one of the 12. And hopefully, as you read, reread, and reread one more time, this passage will really blossom and open up to you. Our prayer passage today comes from one of the best prayers in the Bible, Jesus' prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane in verse 36 of Mark chapter 14, and it reads as such. Abba, Father, he said, everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what you will. Jesus knows how to pray to God. Reading this passage is such a great opportunity to truly catch what's going on behind the scenes. So read this passage and truly begin to pray like Jesus, starting with, Lord, I submit to you. That's all for today, and I will see you tomorrow. This is Titus saying, see you later. Bye. So that's what a typical hashtag Bible Reading Plan video looks like. Now, you can jump into these right now. You can go onto YouTube. There's actually a link in the description with the full playlist. Here's what it looks like. We got our playlist at the very top, our 6 tips for your hashtag Bible Reading Plan, and then just going on down through the days. With each day, you read one chapter of Mark. One chapter. So we're talking, 15, 20, sometimes 60 verses, but even that isn't that much, guys. You guys are more than capable of reading this book. And it's so important that you're taking time to study Scripture, that you're taking time to understand the Jesus story, that you're integrating the Jesus story into your life each and every day. Now, this series that we've been on over the past couple of weeks, Verbs of Jesus, I think it's been very helpful, or I hope it's been very helpful for your walk with Jesus. I try to keep it very practical. I try to keep it very grounded in the text of Matthew 5, 6, and 7. However, there's nothing that can beat you taking time with your Bible to open up the Word of God and truly study God's Word. And so I would really encourage you. I would have encouraged you this to all of you before we were even in a live streaming coronavirus pandemic weird situation. Don't just depend upon Sunday morning lessons from David or sermons from David or even classes from me or any of the DIY Devos. Don't depend upon Wednesday night live stream. Don't depend upon any of that stuff. Instead, let your true following Jesus come from that time that you're spending in prayer every single day. Let that time of Bible reading that you're doing every single day truly influence your walk with Jesus. And I think an easy first step is doing the book of Mark, #Bible reading plan. I've got a video for every single chapter, less than 3 minutes. You take a couple of minutes, you watch that video, you read the text, you jot down a couple of questions, and you're done. You're done. You're totally done. And the best part is when you finish a book of the Bible, it makes reading any other part of the Bible so much more, it feels like it's more accomplishable. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you get that under your belt and you go, okay, you know what? I can do this. I can read the Bible. And I can't wait until we can really do another #Bible reading plan through one of the letters of Paul, because those are even shorter, y'all. They're even shorter. And so it's going to be great to be able to continue to do this #Bible reading plan. But it's so important that each and every one of you take part in #Bible reading plan. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. That's all there is to that. And that's all of our announcements this week. So let's get right into our game. And this one is a real good one. I know I always say it's a good one, but this one's a real good one. It is a game that we like to call Which Town is Real? Guys and gals. Let's not just say guys. Guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many towns out there. Am I right? Oh, there's 50 of these states, and everywhere you spit, there's another town with some weird name. There's so many weird named towns out there. So many. There's a place in Florida. It's called the North Pole or something like that. Or no, it's called it's in Georgia. Santa Claus, Georgia. Pretty awkward. So, with that being said, just the fact that there's so many weird towns out there, here's how we're going to play this game. Let's get right into it. Here's the rules. Right here. 2 of the town names are fake, but one of them is real. Can you guess which one? That's how we play Which Town is Real. So I need you guys down in the comments. I always like to say this, but I really mean it this time. I need you to spam in the comments as much as possible which town you think is real. Are you all ready to do that? I want you to go ahead and type down in the chat. Spam, 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 spam. Spam, 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 spam. I need at least 5 spams before we can continue. From a different group of, from whoever, as long as I get 5 cohesive spams, then I'll be able to hit next slide and we'll be able to get this game started. So go ahead and type down in the chat. Spam, 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 spam. Okay, I got 2 yeses, 3 yeses, 4 yeses, and 5 yeses. I think we're good to go. All right, thank you, Logan. We are good to go. Let's get it started. All right. Question number 1. Arizona, good old state. The twins, Shelby and Marissa, they visited the good old state of Arizona here recently. There's a really interesting story about someone dropping their phone into a very famous giant canyon, which will remain unnamed, but you can guess which one it is. We have 3 towns here, and I need you guys to tell me which town is real. Is it Old Nine Center, 56 Tank, or Numbers? Old Nine Center, 56 Tank, or Numbers? Old Nine Center, Arizona, 56 Tank, Arizona, or Numbers, Arizona? Which of these towns is fake? And which of these towns is real? Just answer with the correct town name. Which of these towns do you think the United States would say, yeah, I guess that's all right if we call that town a town? What you think? Tell me down in the comments. Spam your answer. Is it Old Nine Center, 56 Tank, or Numbers for the state of Arizona? Man, I tell you what, I love Arizona. It's its own version of beautiful. I will tell you, though, New Mexico is like, if you don't like the hotness of Arizona, New Mexico is like a bit milder in climate. I like to think it is, at least. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But once you get to Arizona, you start getting into Nevada, so like western Arizona. That's like uncomfortably hot. Am I right, though? I mean, like, for real. So we got 2 for Old 9. We got Logan and Emily saying Old 9. Charlotte saying Numbers as the town that is real. All right. Is it real? Here we go. Old 9 and Numbers. Oh, I didn't know that. Your dad used to live in Arizona. Wow. Yeah, I think I remember him talking about that. There was he used to work in Arizona. That was his first job. No, that's not right. I thought his first job was at Auburn as a campus minister. I don't know. I believe you, though. All right. In 3, 2, 1, it is 56 tank. No one gets points. Sad day. Womp, womp, womp. All right. 56 tank, Arizona. I believe Phoenix is directly right above the Z, so it's a good ways from the Grand Canyon. So, all right, next up, we got Arkansas. Arkansas, is it Toad Suck, Squirrel Springs, or Hairy Bear? Toad Suck, Squirrel Springs, Hairy Bear. This one's a toughie, am I right? But believe it or not, there is one of these towns. One of these towns actually exists. There's a group of people that live in one of these towns. I'm just as blown away as you are. I promise. Okay, I promise you. But there are people that, no joke, live at a town either called Squirrel Springs, Toad Suck, or Hairy Bear. Charlotte's saying Toad Suck. Logan's saying Bear? Hairy Bear? Hairy Bear, Arkansas. How do you bat Arkansas? How do you bat Arkansas? It's actually Arkansas, I know, but don't judge me too harshly here. Oh, okay. We got all 3 answers. Toad Suck, Squirrel Springs, and Hairy Bear. Anybody else wanting to chime in with their answer? Toad Suck, Squirrel Springs, or Hairy Bear for the state of Arkansas? State of Arkansas. Nope. All right, in 3, 2, 1, it is Toad Suck. How about that? Right above the A, Toad Suck, Arkansas. Yeah, can you imagine sending your mail care of Toad Suck? My goodness. Whew. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get weirder, we come to the great state of Alaska. Alaska. Is it Turkey, Alaska, Raptor Ridge, Alaska, or Chicken, Alaska? Yeah. D, none of the above, right? What we got for this great state of Alaska? Turkey Scrub, Raptor Ridge, or Chicken? Look at all those chickens. Charlotte Thompson says Chicken. Emily Custer says we don't know yet. And Logan, under the visage of Tommy Gunn, says turkey. He says turkey. Turkey scrub. Now, how many times people are needing to scrub their turkeys? I guess that's when that's like right before Thanksgiving, right? It's when you're scrubbing the turkey. You're scrubbing it down so that way it'll be nice and clean, free of germs, all that fun stuff. You can't trust the FDA, am I right? You can't trust them. I guess. I don't know. I trust them. That's fine. It cooks. It's fine. Look at all those chickens, says Emily. So Emily's saying chicken. I was typing that right before you said it. Yeah, sure, whatever. So we got 2 chickens and a turkey. That sounds like I'm making fun of you guys, but I promise I'm not. We have 2 chickens and a turkey. Wow. I have to say, Raptor Ridge is the coolest sounding, by far the coolest sounding name for a town that I've ever heard. I went over the mountain and I came down to Raptor Ridge and I resupplied. That's when I got attacked by the zombies. All right. Yeah, sorry, Emily. No offense. All right. So moving right along, the great state of Alaska. Turkey Scrub, Raptor Ridge, or chicken. Only got answers for chicken and turkey. Let's find out if it's every day of the year or if it's just during November. In 3, 2, 1, it's every day of the year. Got that good old chicken though. Got that good old chicken. Man, I'm having some Thai chicken tonight. Let me tell you guys a little life hack, okay? Let me tell you. Just let me speak very, very seriously with you for a second. If you go to Aldi, you can get these pre-made meals. You can get pre-made meals pretty much everywhere, you know, these little plastic totes. You go to Aldi, they have this chicken called the Thai chicken. Wow. Coconut milk. So it's kind of sweet, kind of savory. Some spices that I don't know what they are. You cook up some rice. You throw that little bugger in the microwave. All right. It takes 3 minutes to fully cook a chicken breast in this beautiful sauce. Beautiful sauce. You're welcome. That's all I'm gonna say. Just you're welcome. You're welcome. So chicken. Oh, and by the way, that's what I'm having for dinner. So let's get it. All right. Next state. Kentucky. Is it? Okay, I'll be honest. I don't know much about Kentucky. I just don't. I just don't know much about Kentucky. They make great fried chicken, I guess, or mediocre. I don't know how you all feel about KFC. I'm not the biggest fan, but it's all right. They got rid of wedges, so I don't speak to them anymore. All right, is it rabbit hash, greasy gopher, or roadkill? Again, none of these are winning moves in my opinion. Greasy gopher. That's such a gross image. I'm not going to lie. Swag money. Where is Kentucky? That is the realest question I've heard in a while. Where is Kentucky? It's directly above Tennessee. Actually, it's so on this map right here, above my face, we got Kentucky. Tennessee's right here. Arkansas is right here. Good old state of Oklahoma and Texas, I guess, is down there. Missouri. We got, I guess, Illinois and Indiana, and then right below Illinois, Indiana, we got Kentucky. Yeah. LOL, who knows? Why are they all food? Excellent question. I have no idea. I have literally no idea. Although I would say, Emily, I don't consider roadkill food, so that's a problem that you probably need to address. That's really gross. Don't do that. So, yeah. So words are hard. Is it rabbit hash, greasy gopher, or roadkill? Which one is the correct? Which one is the correct town? I vote roadkill. Charlotte's got to vote for roadkill. Logan, what you think? What you thinking, man? We got rabbit hash, greasy gopher, roadkill. You gonna side with Charlotte? You gonna go full rabbit hash, or are you gonna roadkill? He's saying roadkill. All right. I see you. Roadkill. In 3, 2, 1. It is none of y'all. Rabbit hash, which I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't sound good. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, rabbit is pretty good. It's very lean meat. It's kind of like chicken. It's kind of like somewhere between veal and chicken. So that's pretty good. I don't know if you guys have ever had veal before, but all right. On to the great state of New Mexico with its weird blockness. It's kind of awkward, like me. It's fine. New Mexico. We got 3 different possibilities for a town in New Mexico. Which of these towns is real? Is it password? Is it truth or consequences? Or is it game show? Now, I tell you, any of these, I want to know the story behind why the town was named this. I truly do. Password, truth or consequences, or game show. Logan's saying password. All right. So when you enter the town, I just imagine someone standing there saying password. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Harry Potter. I guess that's Harry Potter. That's the first one. Yeah. The first Harry Potter, you have to say a password to be able to get in the common room. So I just imagine like a giant painting there, and you drive up and it says password. Finish that line. Anybody else know what the password is for the first Harry Potter movie? I'll go ahead and tell you. It's Cabot Draconis. And then for the third one, what's the password for that? No answer? LOL? There's a delay? I'm going to go ahead and tell you anyways. It is Fortuna Majora. It just seems funky enough. Guess what, Charlotte? You're right! Hey! Charlotte's right. Truth or consequences. Man, I tell you, I want to know the story behind why in the world there is a... Whoa, my computer just flipped out. Fun. I want to know the story behind why there is a town called Truth or Consequences. I tell you, that is a very interesting town name, and that's just putting it lightly. So that ends our game. I believe I do believe that Charlotte or Logan, one of the two of them, absolutely killed it. But I just know that it wasn't Emily. I love my wife. I think she's amazing. I think she's also amazingly smart. However, I do not think that she won that one. So it's fine. I'm going to regret that statement later. Anyways, let's move right along into a time of prayer. Every single week I like to take just a few minutes. I also kind of like to do this to try to freak you guys out a little bit, kind of put you outside of your comfort zone, because there's nothing like spending time in silence. There's nothing like spending time devoted to a time of silent prayer that can really kind of help orient us, even in the middle of the week like this. And so that's why we do this. And so I want us to take 3 minutes this week, 3 minutes of silence in prayerful reflection before the Lord. And then after that 3 minutes is over, we'll get right into our material for this evening, talking about verbs of Jesus. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to God for a time of prayer for 3 minutes. All right, guys and gals, that's the end of our prayer time together. I hope that I really do hope that the more that you take time to practice that, watching the live stream week after week, I hope that that's becoming easier. I hope that it's something that you continue to do even after the live stream is over. Throughout the week. It's always a great thing to take some time and stop and reprioritize and kind of remember that Our value isn't defined by our hustle. Our value isn't defined by our grind. Our value isn't defined by how much homework we do or how many accolades we get at the end of our life. Our value is defined by the fact that we're made in the image of God. And that shouldn't stop us from working. That shouldn't stop us from hustling or grinding. But there should be a time every single week where we stop and we really spend time in silence, recognizing the lordship of God. And that's an important practice that we continue to do. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into our study this evening. So we've been going for a couple of weeks through the book of Matthew 5, 6, and 7, talking about the Sermon on the Mount. So for those of you who aren't caught up, make sure that you hit up the playlist that's up on the main channel. You can click the channel button down there, and it'll take you to the YouTube channel. It'll show you a little playlist of all the videos that we've been doing over the past couple of weeks talking about the Sermon on the Mount. But really, when it comes down to it, the Sermon on the Mount is Jesus explaining how important it is to do root work. Now, what is root work? Well, root work is not it's not work about all the top level things that we always think are the problem. No, it's about drilling down underneath that and saying, okay, what's the root problem? And so Jesus continually throughout this book is talking about different things that people say, oh, I need to deal with, my violence towards people or my anger or my lying or any of that stuff. And Jesus always takes that thing and he drills down and he says, let's talk about the root problem. Let's talk about the human brokenness problem. That if you fix that or if you work on that, the symptoms of that will stop. And so the example that we always look to is, you should love your family. That was the law, the original law from the Old Testament. But then Jesus drills down into the heart issue and he says, but can we talk for a second about how you should love people outside of your family? How your love should not just be for your family, but it should be for all people, and there's nothing wrong with having a law or having a rule that says, hey, make sure you're loving your family. But if that's where your love stops, that's not enough, And so Jesus is constantly calling his people, that's us, to a deeper form of true understanding of the law. And so the big text that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and it's important that we keep coming back to this because this is Jesus's interpretive structure for the entire thing is, he's not coming in here to say, yeah, the Old Testament is irrelevant. No. He's coming in and saying the Old Testament is awesome. It's wonderful. And let's talk about how we can take it a couple steps further. And not actually, no, he's not saying take it further. He's saying let's drill down deeper, because taking it further would mean, becoming super, super Pharisaical. And that's not what Jesus is saying at all. And what's funny is there are quite a few people that will read this section of Scripture, the Sermon on the Mount, and they'll make it very Pharisaical. The passage we talked about last week with divorce, or the passage we talked about a few weeks before that, talking about murder. If you can take Jesus' words very literally, you can pluck out your eyes if your eyes are causing you to sin. You can cut off your hands if they're causing you to sin. But that's, again, all just stuff up here. That's like level 1. Jesus is saying, let's go level 5. Let's get down to the deep human issue. Let's deal with that human issue instead of just talking about the stuff on the top. So I think that's always a really important part whenever we're getting into any of the texts, is to remember that Jesus is saying, you've heard this, but let's go down a level and let's get underneath it. And let's become people of integrity, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and let's read the text. Matthew 5, 33 through 37. Briley, glad you could join us. Let's get right into it. Matthew 5, 33 through 37. Again, you've heard it said, to the people long ago, to the Old Testament people. Do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all. Why? Why is Jesus saying that? I mean, the Old Testament said that you could swear oaths. The Old Testament said you should swear oaths. you should make promises with people, and you should always be honest with your promises. But Jesus says, do not swear an oath at all. Okay, so does that mean we don't make promises? Does that mean that we don't swear that we're going to do something? Well, not necessarily. Let's keep reading. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Okay. So verse 37 is going to be the main piece that we're going to be looking at tonight. Because truly, I think what Jesus is talking about in this passage is integrity. Because truly, when we're talking about root work, what is the root of lying? A lot of people lie. Everyone has lied at some point in their life. It's not like any of us are above lying. I mean, we definitely live in a culture where it's very common for people to lie. Sometimes lying about things that don't even matter. So what is the root of lying? Well, it's a lack of integrity. It's a lack of integrity. So I think it's also important as we move forward for us to kind of define terms a little bit here. What is integrity? What actually is lying? Well, we can start with lying. I think all of us are somewhat acquainted with it, but let's make sure we know what we're talking about here. When we're talking about lying, we're talking about refusing to tell the truth. We're talking about making up falsehoods. We're talking about saying things that are not true. Now, to move even beyond lying, let's talk a little bit about what integrity is. And for that, I actually have a video from the Texas University, I believe is what it is, a school of business. Because a lot of businesses, especially business degrees, they see the value of ethics. And a lot of what Jesus is talking about in this passage in Matthew 5 is a matter of ethics. And so for us to be able to talk about this, we're going to take a 1 minute and 20-second ethics course, courtesy of the University of Texas. So let's go ahead and let's watch this video. 1 second. Whoop. Oh.
Integrity. Integrity, said author C.S. Lewis, is doing the right thing even when no one is looking. Integrity is a foundational moral virtue and the bedrock upon which good character is built. Acting with integrity means understanding, accepting, and choosing to live in accordance with one's principles, which will include honesty, fairness, and decency. A person of integrity will consistently demonstrate good character by being free of corruption and hypocrisy. Integrity is revealed when people act virtuously regardless of circumstance or consequences. This often requires moral courage. Indeed, integrity is the critical connection between ethics and moral action.
So it shouldn't surprise us that if that's the standard for business, the standard for followers of Jesus should be equally high when it comes to being a person of integrity. And one of the main things the video talked about was being a person who does the right thing regardless of what happens to that person. You see, many times people will talk about being a person of integrity because it makes people successful, or because it's good because people will give you things. That's not that's really not a good motivator, I believe. And that's exactly not why Jesus is saying this. Jesus isn't saying you shouldn't lie because people will think less of you if you lie, even though that is true. Jesus is saying you shouldn't lie because that's not who you are. There's a difference there. You shouldn't lie because kingdom people who follow me, they don't lie. They're people of integrity. It's what they do. It's who they are. The great quote from C.S. Lewis, which is just fantastic. Integrity is who you are when no one is watching. Integrity is who you are when no one's watching. So the question is, who are you when your parents aren't around? Who are you when no one else is around? When it's just you? So to really kind of bring this home a little bit, I think it's really important if we get super practical. So I have two radically different situations, and they both get us to think critically about what it means to be a person of integrity. And the first one's a lot easier than the second one. The second one's going to make you uncomfortable, but this first one, easy peasy. You guys are going to love this, and it's historical. This is my second in the course of a couple of weeks with you all talking about World War II. So I'm happy as a lark. I can't imagine the privilege of being able to talk about World War II again, but here we are, and our first story begins. I want you all to picture yourself in Germany in about 1930, 1920s, 1930s Germany. You live in a pretty nice house. This is your house. It's wonderful, isn't it? You guys ogle over it. Every morning you enjoy a good old pretzel, I suppose, or some sausage or whatever it is that Germans do. I love German food. It's awesome. You all are steeped in culture. You've grown up here your entire life. You love your neighbors. You're a good Christian person. You're making the choice to follow Jesus each and every single day, and you're doing the hard work of following Jesus. And it's pretty easy life. Well, one day, over the course of a few years, really, but one day, there's a man by the name of Adolf Hitler, who eventually becomes the chancellor of your great state of Germany, and things change pretty dramatically. There's calls for eradicating the Jewish race. There's calls for eradicating all types of people who don't belong, and of course, that bothers you, as it should. So you make the decision, your family makes the decision together to hide a few of your Jewish neighbors. And so you place them in your home and you keep them safe. Well, one day, the inevitable happens. You're living in the heart of Germany, and this kind of thing that I'm about to describe to you all happened in countries even beyond Germany. So if you're living in Germany, this was bound to happen to you eventually. The Nazi officers show up at your door on a fateful day, and they bang on the door. They might even kick it open. Who knows? And they tell you, we need you to release whatever Jewish people that you're harboring. We're pretty sure that you're harboring Jewish people in here, or different types of people that we have deemed unworthy of keeping around. And so we need you to hand those people over. So my question to you all is, what would you do? Well, the right thing to do would be to lie. And why would you do this? It's because you value the lives of your neighbors. You love your neighbors like Jesus would. And you don't want them to be harmed. You don't want them to be abused or taken advantage of. So you would protect them. But somehow that makes you a person of integrity. So that one's pretty easy. All of us like to think that we would make the right decision. And I hope that we would. I truly hope that we would. But that doesn't call into question your integrity. And if it does, it calls into question your integrity to the people to whom it doesn't matter if it does. But it certainly it certainly doesn't call your integrity into question to your Jewish neighbors who you've kept alive. And that's truly what would matter in that situation. Now, that's situation number one. Let's move on to situation number two, because this one's a little bit more uncomfortable. Let's say that you walk into your guidance counselor's office and, your future looks bright. Every single Ivy League school is vying for you to eventually show up at their doorstep and be a part of their school, which is an excellent opportunity. Your internship, your dream internship right here, has finally gone through. And what's more than that, your boyfriend or girlfriend here says that they will follow you to whatever school it is that you will end up at. But you've got one small problem. You walk in to see the guidance counselor here, and the guidance counselor says, hey, look, there's no way forward. There's absolutely no way forward for you to graduate on time. You're 3 credits behind. Your only option for you to be able to graduate on time, for you to be able to attend your Ivy League school, for you to be able to keep your internship, for you to be able to follow your boyfriend and girlfriend out to this far off state, is to take a summer class. So, of course, you take the class. And what class is it? Well, it's English class. English class. I don't know if you guys enjoy English class, but it's an English class. So, in this English class, you're required to read 3 great pieces of literature, let's just say. The first book is The Scarlet Letter, which I don't know if you guys have read The Scarlet Letter. It's the only book that makes something that should be pretty interesting incredibly boring. That's kind of the point. But you get through the book. It's not easy, but you eventually claw your way to the end of the book, and you survive. Next book, The Canterbury Tales. I don't know how many of you all have read The Canterbury Tales, but you eventually most likely will. It's a classic English novel, or a collection of poetry and prose. So you read this story. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult. The culture of medieval Europe is different than the culture of growing up in America, and so you feel the effects of that. That's for sure. But you still somewhat enjoy the characters, and you make your way through the book. And then we come to the final book, the final of the 3 books that you're required to read for your English class to be able to pass this class, graduate on time, get that Ivy League school scholarship and full ride to the Ivy League school, to get that internship and to be able to follow your boyfriend and girlfriend and not have to break up with them and do a long-term distance relationship, is Moby Dick. Now, you don't like Moby Dick. I personally love the book. I think it's great. But you personally don't. 800 pages. 800 pages of book about the Atlantic whaling from a culture that is so far removed from you and your landlubber status here in North Georgia. You would rather absolutely jump off of a cliff than have to read another page of this book. You get about 100 pages in and you say, I'm done. I'm going to be reading some Spark Notes. I'm going to be reading some Cliff Notes. I'm going to find a summary online, watch a documentary on Netflix, maybe watch the movie that came out about it that stars some movie star that I don't know, and call it a day. Don't blame you. It's a tough book, and you have very limited time, and, Fortnite's not going to play itself. So, you don't read Moby Dick. So, the class continues. You get to this test, but it's not a traditional test like you thought it would be. No. Instead, it's got one singular question on it. Did you read Moby Dick? So, when you see this question, of course, your face absolutely just melts into sheer terror. You begin to say prayers. You begin to question why you took this class, why this question of all the questions had to be the question. Why couldn't it have been Scarlet Letter? Why couldn't it have been Canterbury Tales? But that's not what the question was. It's the only question. It's worth this test, by the way, I forgot to mention, is worth 50% of your grade. Your ability to pass or fail this class, which everything is riding on, is dependent upon how you answer this question. And no one would know except for you. The teacher didn't know. The teacher's not looking over your shoulder saying, did you read Moby Dick? I mean, that's what this question is doing. But it's fully dependent upon your honesty. It's fully dependent upon your integrity as a person. So how would you answer that? A surprising amount of people, when asked this question in Randy Harris's freshman Bible class at Abilene Christian, they would justify it, and they would say absolutely. I would say I read it even if I hadn't read it, because, quote, God has a plan for me. Well, the truth about an answer like that is that it really displays something. And it's simply this. Our integrity is often for sale. Our integrity often has a price tag. It's not hard to get us to absolutely divulge into telling a lie because it's so common. All of our friends are doing it, right? All of our friends are cheating on tests. All of our friends are lying to their mom and dad. All of our friends are saying, no, I've never done that or said that or been there or done that. Our integrity is often for sale. It's not hard to put us in a situation where we break and we end up lying. Because life happens, right? Well, our text today, Matthew 5:33 through 37. The expectation upon us is that all that we would need to say is simply yes or no. And anything that would come beyond this would come from the evil one. The expectation should be for us as followers of Jesus that everyone knows that we're such a person of integrity that there's no need to even question if we're telling the truth at all. You know, how many times have you said in a conversation, because the English language is funny, right? There's so many times where we will say things without even thinking about it. You know, so someone tells you a story about, one day I was traveling somewhere and my toes got cut off. What's the first thing you might say there? Really? What are we saying when we ask someone really? We're asking them, is that really true? What if there was no question every time you said something that you were telling the truth? That's radical. That looks different, doesn't it? I truly believe this is what this passage is trying to get us to think about. How we somehow, in this day and time, can be so incredibly filled with integrity that it just happens as a result. You know, lying, this is why lying is more of a symptom. But integrity is that root issue. We should be a person of integrity. But beyond that, I think that we should have integrity and intensely tell the truth. We should have integrity and intensely tell the truth. Now, here's what that looks like. Here's my challenge to you all this week, okay? At the first hint of falsehood this week, this is my challenge. You should immediately try to seek to rectify the situation. So try to fix it, right? If it can't be done right away, give it an hour and see if you can try to fix it. See if you can try to make it right. You know, you start to tell a lie, correct yourself. Be like, that's not true. Until you've rectified it, until you've fixed it, try not to speak to anyone. That would make life hard, wouldn't it? You talk about intensity of integrity. And then take it a step further. You contact a friend or a family member every other night or day for the next couple of weeks and reflect and confess to them the exact nature of why you continue to lie to people or why you think you lied to people. And this activity that I'm describing to you, this is just all about examining your heart. It's all about exposing the roots of our dishonesty, because it's so incredibly easy to be dishonest. Even for me, your youth minister, your paid Christian youth minister who's supposed to have it all figured out, right? Yeah, sometimes I even struggle with telling people the truth. Or, if that sounds too complicated, maybe just, there I go saying it, oh my goodness. Try not to use the word maybe unless absolutely necessary. Say yes or say no. Come down definitively. Now, what that requires of us is knowing our schedules, knowing our calendars. That requires us having some self-awareness, knowing what we can give to people, what we can't give to people, be it our time or our energy or our resources. That's what it takes. Having this type of integrity, this type of intense integrity, takes knowing ourselves. And knowing ourselves is somewhat of a spiritual practice in and of itself. But I think that's part of what it takes to have true integrity. To truly, intensely tell the truth as much as you can. Now, I always like to talk about this, and I think it's extremely relevant when it comes to trying to have integrity each and every single day. Every single day, I want all of you to be seeking Jesus with everything that you have. And there are 3 helpful things that you can do to seek after Jesus every day. All 3 of these things are practical, they're doable. There's something that you as a teenager or a preteen can do. Now, the thing that you often might tell yourself is, "Oh, I can't do that. That's what adults do." No. Teenagers, pre-teenagers can do these things sometimes even better than adults can. And if you start the process of doing these practices now, it'll get even easier. Because here's the thing, you guys and gals. Life is not going to get any easier from this point on. It's only going to get harder. It's only going to get harder. I know right now you feel as though you don't have enough time. I know right now you don't feel like you have enough energy. I know right now you don't feel like you have enough sleep. But it's not going to get any better. You're going to go away to college. You're going to go ahead and get a job maybe. You might have some kids. You might get married. Whatever situation you end up in life, I promise you, it will not end up easier. It will end up harder. It will end up harder. I can almost guarantee you of that. And if any of you have a different experience whenever you're in your 20s or 30s, you can definitely come back and find me and say, "Titus, you were wrong." But I doubt that will happen. I doubt that will happen. I really do. I really doubt that will happen. It will only get harder. So, take this time that you have as an 18 or younger person and plug into seeking Jesus every single day. And you can do this by praying to the Lord, actively speaking to the Lord, be it in a prayer journal or saying things out loud or spending time in silence and solitude before the Lord. Pray. Do it. Pray. Second thing you can do, reach out to your source group or even reach out to just people in the youth group. Reach out to someone. Make a connection with someone who is a follower of Jesus every single day. Adult, old person, young person, person your age, youth minister, preacher, elder, Bible class teacher, worship leader, AV person, cleaner, I don't care. Reach out to someone from your GCC community, because that is another extremely important way of how we can truly seek Jesus. It's good for them. It's good for you. And then lastly, read your Bible. Read your Bible. I know sometimes these old dusty books, because for a lot of us they get pretty dusty as long as they sit by themselves, right? These books can be difficult. They're not easy to read, but there's so many helpful tools out there. I want to be a person who can help resource you with some of those tools. I hope all of you feel comfortable opening up your Bible each and every day. So I hope all of you are doing all three of these things, and if you're not, don't let yourself be clouded with guilt that you're not doing them. Pick one of them and do it. And do it as much as you can, and continue to seek Jesus. Every single day. Just do that. Absolutely do that. I'm so glad that you stayed with us tonight. I'm so glad that you were able to be with us in our study of the book of Matthew. I hope this has been fun. I really do. I know it's been challenging. I know some of these words are very difficult from Jesus, but they're supposed to be. They're supposed to push us into places that are uncomfortable. They're supposed to push us to the next level. They're supposed to push us down past the up here into the deep-rooted part, the parts that are the most sensitive about us. And being a person of integrity, especially in 2020, can be very difficult. But that's what we're called to be. We're called to be transformed people, transformed kingdom people, making the choice to follow Jesus each and every single day. It's my prayer that all of you will continue to seek after Jesus every single day. I love you all. I will talk to you later. This is Titus saying, see you later. Bye-bye.